For as long as anyone can remember, Germany was the country that saved money. While everyone else borrowed and splurged, Germany balanced its books, ran surpluses, and lectured the rest of Europe about living within its means. It was so serious about not borrowing that it wrote the rule into its own constitution. And then last year, a shocking change happened. It tore that rule up and made a €500 billion bet based on borrowed money. Here's the problem. It might already be too late. Unemployment has climbed back above 3 million people for the first time in about 15 years. Its factories are shutting, and the rescue money is arriving too slowly to make a difference. In this video, we focus on why the biggest bet in modern German history could turn out to be its biggest mistake. To understand the size of this gamble, you have to understand what Germany used to be. For decades, Germany was Europe's engine. Made in Germany meant the best cars, the best machines, the best engineering on earth. Germany sold those things to the world, ran enormous trade surpluses, and banked the proceeds. It was the responsible one. The country that, after the chaos of the 20th century, decided it would never live beyond its means again. That instinct even had a rule: the debt brake, a strict limit on government borrowing written directly into the Constitution. Borrowing, in a very real sense, was un-German. But walk through Germany today and the situation has changed dramatically. The economy shrank or flatlined for 3 years running. Adjust for inflation, and Germans are no richer than they were back in 2019. Unemployment has climbed back above 3 million, a number the country hadn't seen in roughly 15 years. In a single year, German industry cut more than 100,000 jobs, around 50,000 in car making alone. Volkswagen, the very symbol of German industry, announced plans to cut about 35,000 more. So, how did the model break? 3 blows landed at once. First, energy. For years, German factories ran on cheap Russian gas. And when that vanished, the cheap power that made German industry competitive vanished with it. Second, China. For decades, China was Germany's best customer, hungry for German cars and machines. Now it's Germany's deadliest competitor, building those same things itself and flooding the world, including Germany's own roads, with cheaper electric cars. And third, tariffs. The new American government slapped taxes on foreign goods, hitting the exports the entire German model depends on. For decades, Germany's answer to any problem was the same: save more, spend less. This time, it did the exact opposite. In March of 2025, Germany did something that would have been unthinkable just a few years earlier. It broke its own golden rule. The government changed the constitution to get around the debt brake. It exempted almost all military spending from the borrowing limit, making the defense budget, in effect, unlimited. And it created a special fund worth €500 billion, the largest borrowing package in the country's history, to pour into infrastructure, climate, and defense over the next 12 years. Sit with that number for a second. €500 billion, more than a tenth of Germany's entire annual economy, borrowed. The country that built its whole identity on not borrowing just took out the biggest loan it has ever taken. And the man who pushed it through, the conservative chancellor, Friedrich Merz, had promised during his election campaign that he wouldn't touch the debt brake at all. He won, and then did the exact opposite of what he'd promised. It's hard to overstate how deep this prior view on debt ran. Germans have a folk ideal for how money should be managed: the Swabian housewife, the careful head of a household who never spends a euro she hasn't earned. For a generation, that was how the whole country ran its finances. And a big slice of this new borrowed money isn't going into roads or schools at all. It's going into rearmament. Germany set aside more than €100 billion for defense in a single year, more than Britain and France spend combined. The country that spent 80 years being cautious about its own military is now borrowing to rebuild it, fast. Now, in fairness, there's a real argument for this. When an economy is flat on its back, government spending can do more good than at almost any other time. And Germany genuinely needs the investment. Its once famous infrastructure has been quietly crumbling for years. Bridges closed for safety, a rail network that's become a national joke for never running on time, internet speeds that trail countries Germans would rather not be compared to. On paper, a €500 billion jolt could fix all of that and restart the engine at the same time, rebuild the country and revive the economy in one move. That's the theory, and it's a good theory. The problem is that in practice, three things are going wrong with the bet at the very same time, and together they could turn the rescue into a trap. Quick pause. If you're getting something out of this, take a second and subscribe. This channel breaks down the economic stories the headlines don't, but probably should. Okay, let's get back to the three German problems. Problem 1, the money is barely moving. For all the drama of tearing up the Constitution, the money is crawling out the door. By its own government's admission this year, the fund's spending is running behind schedule, and the areas that matter most for reviving industry, like energy and transport, are showing the least progress of all. Worse, some of it isn't even new. Money that was already promised in the ordinary budget is being quietly shuffled into the special fund to make the headline number look bigger. To take one example, the special fund set aside billions for the National Railway, while the ordinary budget quietly cut almost exactly the same amount from the railway at the same time. Money out of one pocket into the other, and the announcement makes it sound like a fortune in new investment. A rescue that arrives late and partly isn't even real isn't much of a rescue. Problem 2, a second energy shock just hit. Remember, this whole crisis began when Germany lost its cheap energy, cheap Russian gas. Well, in early 2026, conflict in the Middle East and the threat to the Strait of Hormuz sent oil and gas prices spiking all over again, reopening the exact wound that started the whole thing. Germany's single biggest disadvantage is its energy costs, and the world just made them worse. The stimulus is trying to fill a bucket that keeps springing new holes. And problem 3, the deepest one. The money may be aimed at the wrong target. Because Germany's core problem isn't really its old bridges and roads. It's that German industry has lost its edge, outcompeted by China on the very products it used to dominate. And here's the catch. You can borrow money to build a bridge. You cannot borrow your way back to being the best car maker in the world. Think about what's actually happening in cars, the heart of the German economy. For a century, if you wanted the best engineered vehicle in the world, you bought German. Now, Chinese companies are building electric cars that are just as good, loaded with better software, and thousands of euros cheaper. And they're selling them not just across the world, but inside Germany itself. Fixing German infrastructure is worth doing, but it doesn't answer the real question, which is what is Germany going to sell to the world in 20 years that China won't simply make cheaper and sell back to it? And underneath all of it, a slower trap is tightening. All this borrowing pushes Germany's deficit up toward 3.5% of its economy, and its total debt is set to climb for years, from around 60% of the economy toward 80% and beyond. Economists warn the growth math behind the plan is too optimistic, and if the growth doesn't show up, then after this initial splurge, Germany may be forced to do the exact opposite, cut spending hard, right when the economy is still weak. And that's where it becomes a linear chain reaction. Start with the money arriving late and getting swallowed by a fresh energy shock. That means the recovery everyone's counting on doesn't really come. That's the first link. But the debt taken on to pay for it is real, and it's permanent. So the deficit climbs, and the pile of borrowing keeps growing. That's the second link, which means that a year or two from now, with the economy still weak and the debt now much larger, the pressure flips. The government that just opened the spending taps is forced to slam them shut again. Spending cuts, tax increases, austerity, to get the debt back under control. That's the third link. And that austerity lands on an economy that never fully recovered in the first place, choking off whatever fragile growth had appeared and deepening the very slump it was all meant to cure. That's the fourth link. Germany could end up with the worst of both worlds, an industrial base still hollowed out by China, and the mountain of debt it swore it would never take on. It would have spent the money and kept the disease, borrowed like a struggling country, and gotten a struggling country's results, all while giving up the one thing that made it special, the reputation for never needing to borrow in the first place. And here's the final link, the one that reaches far beyond Germany. Germany isn't just any economy, it's the engine of the entire European continent, around a quarter of the Eurozone. When Germany stalls, France, Italy, the whole bloc stall with it. The euro itself was built around the idea of a strong, disciplined German core holding everything steady. If that core is now stagnant and drowning in debt, the whole project loses its anchor. And there's a bigger lesson at stake. For years, Germany was the loudest voice in Europe, insisting you cannot fix an economy by borrowing your way out of trouble. Now it's betting its entire future that you can. The next 18 months will decide who was right. If the bet pays off, Germany reinvents itself and drags Europe up with it. But if it fails, if the money arrives too late, aimed at the wrong problem, and all Germany is left with is the debt, then it will have proven its own old warning correct at the worst possible moment with the money already spent. The engine of Europe is trying to jumpstart itself. We're about to find out whether it roars back to life or stalls for good. And if you want the other half of this story, the country right next door heading into its own debt crisis from the opposite direction, take a look at what's happening in France by clicking on the video on the screen. I'll see you in the next one.